Today, I want to do something a little bit different. This podcast has brought me so many different blessings in my life, but I think my favorite part about going on this journey has actually been kind of seeing this little community begin to form. So today, I want to actually directly respond to someone from our community who left a comment on my last video. Her question is, how do you find your authentic self? I've set myself aside for most of my life, and I just don't even know anymore. Where do you even start? First of all, I just want to say I am not a guru of any kind. I'm not a master in any spiritual aspects of life. But there have been parts of my life where I've struggled with this before, and I hope me sharing and being vulnerable with my process can actually help some of you out there. So, where do you start? I think the journey to your authentic self really has to begin with questioning why we abandon ourselves in the first place. Oftentimes I feel we abandon ourselves because we're afraid of being abandoned by others. When we're kids, we are these pure versions of ourselves. We don't have any filters. We don't have any agreements or attachments to this world. We're just ourselves. And so actually, if you're in this place right now where you feel like you don't know who you are or you've lost your authentic self, I actually want to encourage you and reassure you that your authentic self is right here with you. It's never left. Like I said, when we're kids, we are the purest form of ourselves. And as we grow up, we begin to learn all these different agreements, attachments, and part of returning to that pure part of ourselves, we actually have to unlearn. We actually have to strip ourselves of all the different beliefs that stifle and silence the voice of who we really are. When I was growing up, I innately loved certain things. I loved to sing. I loved to watch martial arts movies and copy the people I saw on TV. And throughout my development, there were people who said those things weren't cool. I wasn't able to be accepted for those things that I loved. And because I was afraid of being abandoned by these people, I began to shrink these parts of myself. I began to hide that I liked to sing. I began to hide the fact that I liked martial arts because, people made fun of me. And the more and more I did that, the more that inner voice inside of me began to become silent. Imagine you have a relationship with someone, and every time you try to speak up and say what you want or what you need, they ignore you or they push you aside and tell you, no, this person accepting me is more important than how you feel. Eventually, you're going to disconnect from that person. You're going to dissociate from that person. And eventually what happens is we lose that connection to our inner voice. When we're looking for the acceptance of others, we deprioritize our relationship with self. So try and dig deep with yourself, reflect, and try your best to understand what that story is for you. Why did you abandon yourself? Was it to be accepted by others? What were the things that you really needed and wanted to develop and nurture when you were in that purest form of yourself? Reconnect with your inner child. Do the things that you've always wanted to do, but maybe other people wouldn't accept you for. Other people didn't understand. And slowly but surely, you can redevelop that relationship with that inner voice. The next step, from my view, then becomes the process of unlearning, of challenging all of our old beliefs that no longer serve us. Like I said, as children, we are these pure version of ourselves, but we're also very vulnerable. We actually rely on the people around us to protect us and make sure we're safe and that we survive. This isn't a bad thing. This is actually the natural process of developing as a human being on Earth. And so we begin to develop these reactions and defense mechanisms to keep us safe. But these same mechanisms that keep us safe as children, I believe eventually hold us back as adults. To be able to move into lives of abundance, we need to be able to step outside our patterns for survival. And like I said, a part of survival is being accepted by others, is being accepted into a tribe. It's actually a deep biological need. Like imagine back when we were cavemen and women. If you didn't have a tribe, you were pretty much dead. So being able to learn how to be accepted and avoid being abandoned by those around us is a biological need that we all need to fulfill. So we begin to learn how to be accepted by other people. We begin to create these agreements around that as well. And so I encourage you to take a deep look at the agreements that we hold about being accepted, about being loved by other people. What are the stories you tell yourself about what you have to do or who you have to be accepted? And start to challenge those beliefs. In this question, she says, I've set myself aside for most of my life, and I just don't even know anymore. I can really relate to this because there was once a belief that I held that really held me back, which was, my life is not for me. This was actually a profound insight for me. I learned that life is actually about service. It's about helping others. It's about using our gifts for the benefit of the people closest to me. So I began to put others before me. I began to make other people's needs more important than mine. Because, of course, I'm here to serve. I'm here to help others. But in doing that, I started becoming burnt out. I started feeling neglected. I started feeling like I was just doing too much. And throughout that process, I learned that the best way to be able to give to others is actually to make sure that I'm okay, to prioritize my own needs so that I can give from a place of abundance rather than giving from a place of self-sacrifice. That's another aspect of reconnecting with your authentic self, is being able to honor yourself and making that just as important as the needs of all the other people in your life. And whatever these false beliefs that you hold are, you have to begin to challenge those beliefs. If you believe you have to sacrifice yourself to be accepted by others, challenge that belief. Put yourself first. Prioritize your own needs in a loving and compassionate and empathetic way. And begin to stand up for that inner voice inside yourself that's expressing to you what it needs. Like I said, when you don't honor that voice, it begins to become silent. But the more you honor that voice, the more it begins to speak up. The more that voice will be present in your life. The more that you are reconnecting with your authentic self. It's all about taking the small steps that you can take and building up from there. Consistently showing up for yourself. And in doing this, it's been such a powerful process for me because all of those parts of myself that I've let go in my past or have pushed down in my past, I've reconnected with now. There's some days where I'm filming this podcast and there's still a voice in my head that says people are going to judge me, or this is stupid, or I'm not going to get anywhere with this. But I override that voice and I honor that part of myself that knows that this is who I am in my most honest and pure expression. And this is what I love to do. And so I have to choose each and every day to prioritize my authentic self over the person that people value, over the person that people accept or want me to be. Which brings me to the third step, which is be prepared for your entire life to change. When you begin to challenge these beliefs and start honoring yourself, there are going to be people who stick around. These people are your people. But there's also going to be people who don't recognize you anymore, who no longer are on that frequency with you because you're changing frequencies, you're elevating, you're moving up into who you truly are. I have this belief that when you ask the universe to become something new, the universe then gives you every single challenge, obstacle, and resistance for you to become the person you've asked to be. Just like if you wanted to become more fit, you have to actually go through the resistance training, the breaking down of your muscle fibers, and the pain of healing and becoming stronger and a better version of yourself. The same thing goes for the process of personal growth. When you actually start to challenge your old beliefs and honor yourself, life is going to begin to look different. And, I believe that people can get so caught up in outcomes and results. Maybe you have a dream outcome of what it will be like when you find your authentic self. But for me, I've realized that it's all about the process. When we truly dedicate ourselves to the process of rekindling that relationship with that inner voice, with our authentic selves, and trust what the outcome will be of that, in living out that process, the universe has given me so many blessings. Maybe not in the way that I've expected or in the outcomes that I've wished for, but in trusting life and trusting the universe, I actually feel like I am blessed beyond what I could have ever asked for. And, I'm still on this journey every single day. I still fight desires to be accepted over what that inner voice or that inner child needs me to do. And I believe if you can go back to the origin of why you abandoned yourself in the first place, go on that journey of unlearning all of the agreements around being accepted that you've learned to survive throughout your childhood and development, and accept and trust how your life changes when you do that, then you'll be well on your way to rekindling that relationship with your inner self, with your authentic self. But that's really just been my process. I hope that this could reach and resonate with some of you out there. And if you have any questions, I'd love for you to leave them in the comments, because I just love interacting with you all. I love this little community we're building, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.